Hey everybody, welcome to This Pink Cloud. I am DJ Kelly Reverb. We are a show that is about multiple pathways to recovery, mental health, all that good stuff. I've actually taken a hiatus and I'm back. It's good to be back. I went to ADE. That was big fun. And then the guy you see on my left or right, I think it's my left now, but it might be my right later. Either way, dude. My longtime friend and DJ slash producer slash voiceover guy slash all around good dude, all the way from Chicago, my good friend Alex Peace, everybody.
Hey, Kels, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
How are you, man? I'm like, I did the predecessor that we're gonna that we're only going an hour. I preface that because literally when you and I talk on the phone, it's like two yentas, and bro, it's like I look down and it's like 3 hours later.
Isn't that like, crazy?
Yeah, well,
and I keep thinking to myself that whenever we were going to do a podcast, that we wouldn't have anything to say because the camera's on.
Yeah,
as opposed to just us on the phone yapping about everything in life.
Right. The camera's on. Hey, what do you want to talk about?
I got nothing.
Right. But so you and I kind of, have a little bit of a similar trajectory where we started DJing early in our lives, and then it's just become a part of the fabric of our lives. And, in case people don't know my story, basically, I started back before the turn of the century. I like to say that, and then basically the alcohol was a perk, and it was fun until it became a problem, which, you didn't intentionally sign up for. So, basically I went to rehab and then figured out that, hey, I've been there, done that. Let's try, operating in a sober space. And, when you have, when you have high blood pressure, when you have diabetes, all that kind of stuff, that's kind of your body telling you, hey, you might want to dial it back a little bit. And then when you start blacking out at gigs and stuff like that, it's like, that's a pretty good indication that there's a problem.
You got problems at that point. Yeah. And what you said about drinking, in this, when you're in nightlife or any type of social setting, if that's your job, that's a occupational hazard, alcohol,
exactly.
Right? It's always available to you. 9 out of 10 times it's free. You don't have to pay for it. They're actually giving you alcohol as a courtesy.
Perk of the job, dude. It's why you sign up, dude.
Yeah. Well,
or one of
it's definitely, yeah. I mean, that's not why I signed up, but yeah, you're right. It is part of the glamorization of being a DJ when you go to a club, right? Right. That's what people do in clubs, right? They partake in whatever substance or whatever lets them feel loose. That's what you do, right?
Sure. Right.
And then to go back to how we started, I think, our age is similar and we just came up in the same school, right? We came up listening, maybe not the same music because regionally, you were in Texas, I was in Illinois, but we still grew up listening. I guess what I want to say, we grew up absorbing music the same way, right? Through MTV, through the radio. Like there wasn't internet. We were here before the internet. Now we're here after. So we do have a unique perspective.
We were back when like your favorite song came on the radio, dude. You'd have to hit record on the cassette deck, dude, and then you'd have your greatest hits, dude.
And then that would last for like a week, and then the next week you were trying to do it again with new songs.
Right.
Yeah. And then if you had the 2 cassette player, you were balling.
Oh,
because
dude,
you're
yeah,
like,
and make the dub cassettes. That's where my production started, I would say. Like, because I would take like just little, tidbits of like a Cure song and just, do like we used to call them like repeat tapes or whatever, or whatever you would do with the dual cassette deck,
uh,
and that was good stuff. It was
yeah,
just
man.
like an hour, like 30 minutes worth of just like, and you thought it was the coolest thing ever. Wow, man, that's
Right,
amazing.
right. Nothing,
Yeah.
right. Nothing was sequenced, right? Everything
Yeah.
was just random tempos and random
Oh, yeah.
punch-ins and punch-outs, and
Yeah.
and you thought it was cool because back then that was the technology. So we thought we were using technology to do
That
something
was,
cool.
that was the first, like, kind of like sampler,
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah,
if you,
exactly.
a little bit. But so,
Right.
yeah. Okay. So, like, let's hear a little bit of the back history. And then also, you're going to talk about all your mental health good stuff, because I know you've done, and you're also very vocal about it on your Instagram, Alex Peace, at Alex Peace, by the way, plug. Um, you're very vocal about your mental health, and speaking your mind and sharing your thoughts with people, and I find the honesty refreshing and
Awesome.
fucking annoying. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
No, no,
You,
no. Honestly, I think it's cool that you put it out there. Just maybe so people can relate. Because I'm sure you get a lot of DMs back of people going, hey, thanks, man. I was feeling that same way, or you know.
yeah, I as I get older, I feel like there's better things I could share than just my music or
Mm-hmm.
just anything related to music. Um,
Sure.
I don't have a big platform, but I know there are people that tune in or are interested or are listening or they follow me for a song I did, a vocal I did, a remix I did, a gig I played, whatever the case is. People, I'm grateful for all the people that take the time to hit follow. Like, it does mean a lot. It's not a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
but through my journey the past 6 years, I have been on a conscious health and mental journey of improvement.
Right.
When I was doing music, I had all these aspirations
Yeah.
and
Expectations you put on
expectations.
yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I wasn't achieving those goals, it made me bitter.
Sure.
I don't know if we can swear,
Oh,
but
fuck yeah, you can.
okay. Well, I was a miserable fucking cunt.
Yeah.
And I would lash out, I would drink, and I would do Facebook posts like rants.
Oh, nice.
And
Angry
yeah,
rants, dude. I'm
yeah,
gonna have to
yeah.
go dig. I'm gonna have to go dig for those.
And I don't know if they were angry. They were just what I was trying to say was valid. How I did it, completely fucking wrong.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
And I know that now. Back then it was just I need people to hear me or I need, and for me, it was advocating for artists in the ecosystem of the Chicago house music scene to
Mm-hmm.
get more consideration, right,
Right.
for gigs, whether it's
Sure.
an opening slot for a big DJ, playing at a opening a festival. Like it didn't have to be a headlining spot or anything. Just to be on a lineup where you can play your music or just you get that fulfillment of
Right.
playing a gig in front of people. That does a lot for an artist. It helps fuel the tank of,
Sure.
okay, this is possible. This felt good. And you go back home, you go back into the studio, you keep creating,
Right.
and all those things that you want, that you kind of need to fuel your battery. It wasn't happening for me or other artists. And the way I went about it was all wrong. And that was
Okay.
because I was unhealthy, right?
Right.
I used to tell myself that music was the one thing that was setting me free, that was bringing me peace.
Mm.
But really, it was the fucking center of my fucking miserable
Right.
perspective,
Sure.
because what I thought was healing me was actually causing more anxiety, more depression.
Well, it's because you were putting expectations on yourself to
Yes,
succeed and stuff like
yes,
this, and it gets frustrating. I know, because when So when the MP3 came along, that kind of took away our marketing, as I guess, let's say, supporting artist, because you and I were making a good living at traveling on the road and all that good stuff. Uh, because the marketing was the vinyl. And then when that went away, it was just like, unless you're already established, how do you even crack the code? And I've kind of figured that out, the business part of it now. And it's still the same basic principle. It's like the DJ makes the DJ. So if you can find people that like your stuff and that resonate with it, and enough of them, then you can build a fan base and you can see positive stuff like supports on 1001 track list, streams, Shazams, all
Right.
that good stuff now that we couldn't see back then. It was just like, okay, cool. Is the phone ringing? I'm Gucci, you know?
Right, right. But
Yeah.
even having all that data,
Yeah.
even having reaching those new weekly, monthly, annual listeners, those
Hmm.
plays on your songs, the charting, the radio airplay, all that stuff.
Hmm.
As important as it is, it still doesn't mean shit.
Right.
It really doesn't. It's
Yeah.
great. It makes you feel good. And I guess what I'm equating that are getting those gigs where it's
Right.
like, ooh, my song got played by this DJ and
Yeah.
my song is getting, a couple thousand plays a month or a week. And
Hmm.
you're seeing actual growth to your creativity, to your
Sure.
passion. You see it and it's great. But in the end, there's always work that has to be done to support that. Even it's not
Yeah, of
just,
course.
you can't spend
It,
3
I
months
said,
on one record.
like I say, it's called the music business for a reason. So if you're going
Yeah,
to treat it like a business, guess what? One of the most important things, and I want to say this to everybody out there. I'm not just saying this to you, but like everybody out there, it's called the music business for a reason. And one of the keys in business is marketing. So if you don't have any marketing, it's going to be tough to make noise in such a crowded space. I mean, because this is a fucking crowded space. I mean, how many songs come out, and to even get on the release side of charts is, pretty astronomical, especially in a genre like house.
right, right.
It's
Well,
just like,
especially with house music,
yeah,
right? You're like you said, you're competing with everyone else that's putting out house
right,
or any kind of dance related music.
sure,
And now more people are doing it because of how easy it's become.
right,
Right. Not that it's easy to make music,
sure,
but it's easy to get all the tools you need to start creating.
right.
Where back then you needed a sampler.
Well,
You
and it was the
needed
same thing with we can carry that onto the whole DJ thing as well. You actually had to have the skill set of beat matching, versus, oh, okay, 127.3, okay, 127.3,
right,
you know?
right, right.
So, but it is what it is. And what I did, and I think we'll probably get into this, but it's also, how do you perceive it, dude? I'm like, hey, okay, yeah, it's a crowded spot, and there's going to be some people that are going to, I'm going to cringe when I hear you DJ. I'm going to silently cringe in my head and go, do you even know where a song is structured? Do you know a breakdown? Do you know, here's your outro, here's your your intro, all that stuff? But the thing is I look at it as, hey, okay, that's just more people to play my shit, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's just like,
yeah.
if you just take it, it's the whole lemonade out of lemons. But I
At
don't know.
least you got water.
Yeah,
If you take
exactly,
the,
right. There you go.
yeah. So circling back to not being healthy, not having a good outlook, just bitter. I was
Mm-hmm.
just a bitter person, right? I wasn't happy with myself. Um, some of the relationships I had with the people I was dating reflected that.
Mm-hmm.
My physical appearance clearly was, you could see it. I was just unhealthy. I was a fat tub of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pandemic happened,
Okay.
and I am one of those people that actually this sounds weird. I don't want people to take it the wrong way, but I'm going to be full transparent when I say this.
Sure.
The pandemic was a blessing for me. It got rid of
Likewise.
all the distraction. It
Mm-hmm.
made me look in the mirror and question who I was, what I was doing, and what if this is the end
Mm-hmm.
of whatever we were going through, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of us knew what it was. We just knew that shit was shut down. There was no more DJ gigs. There was no more anything. And everything that I relied on to make a living was cut
Yeah.
off. I was able to find opportunity outside the limits of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything in the city was shut down, but
The
places in
burbs.
the burbs,
Yeah.
places
Right.
were functioning. They were open.
Naperville. I just like
Yeah,
to say Naperville.
yeah, you just like a Naper thrill. You got to say Naper
Naper
thrill.
thrill.
Yeah,
There we go.
but it was at a club out in the burbs, and
Cool.
that helped me. That helped
Yeah.
me sustain what I needed to do to make a living, to pay my
Right.
bills, to pay rent.
Sure.
And then I started working for my friend's business,
Right.
Chicago Scanning, and that helped me.
I got a question. So how, like, prior to the pandemic, how long were you producing all the way from 95? I mean, were you solid? Because I know you launched True Musica, shout
Yeah.
out. But True Musica is your label. Are you and Brian Boncher's label, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
So when did you? Because it seemed like that's when you really started dedicating yourself and putting your focus in on your music when you launched that label, and then that's basically kind of what caused the unhealthy relationship with music for you at some point.
well, yes. So I started DJing, I think it was 94, 95, like
Okay.
where I was getting paid. I got asked to MC at a club, and I
Nice.
started MCing this teen club every Sunday.
Toto's?
And yeah, Toto's with Bobby D and Mark Stout, and
Yeah.
and then
AKA
yeah,
Mix and
Mix
Mark.
and Mark, yeah.
Yep.
And then I started DJing. Like I
Right.
kind of knew how to DJ, but I wasn't a DJ.
Sure.
And I was approached by this gentleman who ran a record store, and he asked me to come work for him. And I started working at this record store down the street from the club.
Will we know that record store?
Super Dance, which was
Okay.
then later bought and operated by Brian Boncher many years later. So, but
That
that, but,
fun
but,
fact.
but yeah, but this is the store where I met Brian. Brian
Oh,
was
okay.
like 17, 18 years old.
Right.
And, I was in my mid 20s.
And Brian
And-
was in his 40s.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
And,
Sorry, Brian.
and, well, he looked like he was 11 when I first met him.
11,
I mean,
right.
yeah, he's this young, skinny white boy. And,
Right.
So then I started producing with Kevin Halstead. We started the moniker Dance Works. We did some mixtapes. We made a remix, and we were paid an ASR 10 keyboard to complete the remix. And
Hell
that was
yeah,
one of the,
dude.
That was one of
That's
the remixes
jackpot, dude.
Yeah, it was one of the remixes on the record. It was the remix on the record. That
Right.
was the one that I remember. If you remember the L&B project Up and Down, that was our remix. You could probably squeeze it in later.
We
if
could
you
probably
edit
look
this
that
or
up on YouTube.
Yeah, and then and him and I just started making music, and we made music from like late 95 to like 99, but the bulk of it was like 96 through 98. So really my whole career, what people remember is 2 years of the music I made. And then as I kept with it, I started my own label, Faded Music.
I remember. Yeah.
This was back when I did my remix of Fine Ladies Only back in that early 2000s, like 2003, 2002 to 2005 or 6, like that early 2000s period.
Right. Fine Ladies Only was a song that I did that was big, and it resonated in Chicago. And Alex and Caesar did a banging mix that almost made it on a DJ Irene CD.
Yeah, I don't know if Caesar was involved with that. I thought it was just
I don't remember. I think it was.
But it was a while ago. And and then I just kept chipping away at music. I started Faded Music. I had some good releases on there. I'd released some remixes from Brian Cox, our friend Brian Cox from back in the day.
Brian Cox from Dallas,
On the first record, I had Hatiris. I had a remix from him and my good friend DJ Bam Bam. The first record was From Inside the Speaker,
Okay.
which is a big acapella for me as well.
Yeah.
Uh, and then right at that, just prior to that, I had uh, I wrote. I basically made notes. That's when I recorded Bring in the Funk with CZR and Ito on Subliminal.
Okay.
And that record is probably one of the most sampled acapellas to date. It's behind In the
Right.
Beginning There Was Jack. Like
And
it's
yeah, and of course
yeah.
you're seeing money for that, right? Every time it's sampled.
Yeah, exactly.
Nepotism.
So
Right.
um, then you got as you go through this evolution of a DJ and producer, there's this constant change, right? You're trying to rebrand yourself, re-identify
Well,
yourself,
even just stay relevant too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And part of trying to stay relevant is by evolving, by trying different things, right? Like
Sure.
I went the techno route where I was doing
Right.
techno stuff, and that was cool. And and then I just realized that just wasn't gonna work for me in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I slowly just started getting into, open format. I
Mm.
even designed a T-shirt which I never pressed, but it said, "I play open format to fund my underground dreams,"
Yeah.
and that's kind of how we were both living, right? You were
Right.
doing the same thing. You were playing some
Well,
bars and clubs, and you had to play, which you didn't mind at the
exactly.
time. You didn't. I can tell
Well,
right now that
so
we
what
didn't mind
happened?
it at the time.
So what happened for me is, like what I had talked about earlier is the marketing went away when the vinyl went away because that's how everybody knew who I was because they would pick up a record and go, "Oh, Kelly Reverb, oh yeah, the red, white, and blue, blah blah blah, Lone Star," they would know that, and then that would supersede me, and then that would get me booked, all over the U.S. and Canada. Whereas
Yeah,
when that went away, then your relevancy, you only have a shelf life of so many people that, and eventually your fans are going to, age out, or, or, the
age all the
other,
way out.
yeah,
Age all the way
right.
out.
Or, yeah, exactly. Or permanently age out,
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? But, but,
yeah.
but that being said, so then it just gradually happened, like 2010ish, I would say. I was still able to get some cool guy gigs here in town. Phone had pretty much stopped ringing, but then it's just like, okay, well, I've done it before, because I started as an open format DJ, and I'm just like, okay, cool. If this is what it takes, then I'm gonna do it. And then you start doing it, but then it's just like you have that little seed in your head planted of like, I used to be somebody, I used to be a contender, and and all that shit, and it's just like, and then while you're playing like the Cupid Shuffle or Taylor Swift or something like that, and you're like, where did it all go wrong? And then you're
Yeah,
like, well, what's gonna fix that? I go, well, look, the crap place is packed. Whatever, dude. Let's go get a fucking double vodka. Like let's get a tumbler of vodka, this much vodka and ice, and then this much water or this much soda. And it's
right,
just like, okay, cool. That, hey, guess what? That makes me feel happier,
right,
temporarily. That makes me
right.
deal with the current situation that's at hand, and it's just like one of those things that you don't realize you're doing it, dude. You're
Yeah.
doing
Well,
it. You're drinking as a coping mechanism,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's what I was doing. Yeah,
yeah. Think of it this way: while you're building your library
yeah,
of music you
shit,
didn't want to fucking play,
right?
you're also building your tolerance for liquor, for
Oh
booze,
yeah,
for
yeah,
weed, for
yeah. I'm
whatever your choice
pro
was.
pro circuit here 100%, brother.
Yeah,
Like that's what
yeah,
I tell people, like whenever I say, yeah, I don't really I don't really drink now or whatever, they go, oh, like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm
yeah,
like, dude, I go, don't worry about it. I have one for me, and I tell people this. I go, dude, I had a fabulous drinking career. So don't
Right.
feel bad
Right.
for
Right.
me,
Right.
man. I mean,
Right. It,
I had a 30 plus year run
right.
of free booze
You could
and
just tell people, listen,
cocaine and
you could
everything,
just tell
dude.
people, listen, I had a Hall of Fame
Uh,
drinking
uh,
career, and
oh
there's no
yeah.
need for me to come out of retirement.
Right. Exactly,
Like it
dude.
already
Right.
happened.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So luckily for me, I like to tell myself I didn't have that kind of, I didn't abuse booze in that way.
Mhm.
I smoked weed. I still smoke weed.
Okay.
Um, during those party days, you try ecstasy.
For
I
sure.
never got caught up with
Mhm.
abusing it.
Mhm.
Um, for me, it wasn't that I needed to abuse something. I was everything I was doing was just an unhealthy path that I was on.
Right.
You know, so back to the pandemic, you look in the mirror, you start asking yourself, who are you? What now? What are you going to do?
Sure.
And the first 3 weeks of the pandemic, I was drinking and partying with friends because we didn't know what to do. We are
Sure.
fucking, hey, let's keep you
Lockdown.
all
Let's go.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then shortly
Liquor stores
thereafter,
aren't closed.
yeah, and then shortly
Magically.
thereafter, right, yeah, right. Liquor store, McDonald's is still open, Wendy's is still open.
Yeah.
Anything that was shit that you could
Yeah.
consume was still
Yeah.
available during the pandemic,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so then in early April is when I was like, okay, enough of this shit.
Mhm.
I got COVID,
Oh, you
and
did. Okay.
yeah, and I didn't. I already had my own health issues with sarcoidosis and
Right.
asthma
I was
and
gonna
severe
say
allergies.
sarcoidosis, but just because it's fun to say.
It's kind of fun. Bill,
Sarcoidosis.
Bill, we just refer to as the sarc.
The sarc.
How's the
I call it
sarc?
sarcoidizzle.
Sarcoidizzle, yeah, the
Yeah.
sarky. How you feeling today? I'm not feeling so sarky today. Like,
Are you,
yeah,
dude? Are you feeling sarkish?
sarkish, right? Exactly.
But so well for those that don't know, sarcoidosis is a breathing. Is it a disease or is it a condition?
It's
What
like a
is it?
bacteria. It's like
Okay.
a bacteria. And at the
Okay.
time, I was going to Northwestern doctors,
Right.
great network, amazing
Sure.
network of doctors. So I had an allergist, a pulmonologist. I
Mhm.
had all these specialists working together, looking at my charts, trying to connect the sarcoidosis with the severe asthma and the allergies. And I'm one of
Mhm.
those lucky people with allergies where I'm a little bit allergic to everything.
Mhm.
Right. It was so I'm trying to figure out why I can't breathe out of one nostril, sometimes two nostrils, why I can't taste food,
Right.
why am I not sleeping well? Why am I snoring? Well, all the answers check off the boxes: unhealthy, poor
Mhm.
eating, drinking, out
Mhm.
late, poor. I'm just living this horrible lifestyle.
Mhm.
And then it starts to affect my mental health, where I'm
Sure.
doing rants on Facebook at 4 a.m. after I played a gig
Right.
of music that I didn't want to play. It was,
Yeah.
and you're like, fuck this, fuck everything, fuck all of it. And you don't know what to do. Like you
Sure.
feel helpless.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that you think is good for you is therapeutic, which is doing a rant on social media, which is never the answer.
Sure.
But in that short term, I feel good about this rant. I fucking got in some good ones. And
I nailed it.
yeah, nailed it. But at the same time, even though the rant might have been worthy of making some points, it was still coming from a bad place.
Yeah, you were angry.
I was angry. I was
You were
angry with
angry
myself.
and bitter.
I was
Yeah.
bitter with myself and how the industry was starting to move, and I didn't want to move that way. And
Yeah.
basically, in a nutshell, I wasn't holding myself accountable. That's what it came
Sure.
down to. It was
Right.
it was all of it, all of this anguish, all of this anxiety, all of this depression, everything I was feeling that wasn't good was all me.
Right.
It was all me. It was the way I handled it, the way I reacted to things, the way I verbalized things. Luckily for me, I didn't say anything too bad to people I cared about, but I'm sure I said some things that people were like,
Sure.
fuck this guy. And,
Right.
rightfully so. I can't take it back. If I could talk to him and apologize and say sorry, I would.
Yeah.
But I never really threw anyone under the bus that hard. It was more like a how do I want to say it? Just like an overall disapproval of the way
Overall,
things
yeah,
roll,
right.
right?
It
Um,
not directed towards a particular person.
exactly. And then,
Gotcha.
I was like, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. And
Right.
I
Hey, well,
knew
let's take a pause real quick. We'll pause right there. This is our new sponsor.
Are you an old fool who's so cool like us? Funky Gold is a network of skilled and hardworking DFW DJs over 40. We gather to create a mutually supportive environment for all members who are doing big things. Our DJs are leaders in the community who bring special skills and opportunities to share. We strive for professionalism in the music business, and we have hearts of gold. Not to mention we have the coolest swag and the funkiest headquarters. If you're interested in learning more about joining the crew, connect with us on Instagram, YouTube, or Gmail at Funky Gold Network.
All right, and that is our sponsor, Funky Gold Network. Love those guys. Look them up on Instagram. Good crew here in Dallas. Also, got some new stuff coming out, and here it is. All right, and that's the new single. Good stuff happening. Be sure follow me on Spotify, which is just under Kelly Reverb, and then obviously follow my boy Alex Peace on Spotify as well. And then you can follow the podcast, This Pink Cloud. We are on Spotify, YouTube, all that good stuff. So follow us everywhere and like and tell us how great we are. Because we need it.
we do need it.
Right.
I don't think people realize how bad we need just somebody to send a message. Hey man, I love this tune, or
Right.
I
Well,
just
no,
bought this tune, or I added this tune to my playlist, or
sure.
I heard another DJ play. Like just
Yeah.
getting that one message is
Yeah.
it feels amazing.
Well, and I love that. I think, as humans, we all kind of crave validation. We want to, and I'm guilty of that. But then it's like, okay, well, what level of validation do you expect? And it's just like I make music because I love it, but I happen to know what I'm doing with marketing. So then my my music is having a greater chance of succeeding. Whereas this podcast, I just do it just because I think we can, have a dialogue that can help people. And a lot of people have come back to me, and I don't really market this podcast. I do the bare minimum for this podcast, but I just do it just to let people know it's okay to have problems, to have mental health issues, to deal with shit, and hopefully learn from my experience, um so they don't have to go through the hell that I put myself through.
Right. Or at least have your perspective of how you dealt with it or how it affected
Right.
you to help them make a course correcting choice.
Sure. If the
Right.
if and I don't push it on anybody. I just say, "Hey, here's what happened." And it became a prison that I created for myself unintentionally.
Right.
So, and like you were saying about the pandemic, is like I love the pandemic too um because this guy I really hate died. So no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding,
Jesus Christ.
dude.
Oh my goodness.
But no. The pandemic was good because I actually went to rehab during the pandemic. So I think of, oh, cool, man. I got to go to recovery. Everybody was masked up for a while, but then
Yeah.
2 days in, it's like, you know.
Right.
But
Exactly.
during the pandemic is when I got sober. So it was a prison that I had created with alcoholism unintentionally, and I had to have my little baby bottle full of vodka,
Yeah.
with me everywhere, dude, and it became a job, dude, and it sucks, dude. It sucks when it's not fun anymore, dude. you know?
Well, yeah, but life sucks when it's not fun anymore.
Well, exactly, dude. And I love that. I love that you said that because I think, you should a enjoy what you do, and you should do something that brings you happiness and joy,
Yeah,
and if you can. I mean, I get it.
yeah,
Yeah, you have to fucking work
make
to
a
pay
living.
your
Yeah,
bills and stuff like that, but I'm a big fan or proponent of, if you can, why build somebody else's dream when you can build your own? You know what
right,
I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
So,
life costs money, and
exactly.
depending on what you want to do with it, sometimes you have to either spend more time, more energy, or more money to get through whatever it is you're trying to accomplish.
Sure.
Right. So when you say you went to rehab during the pandemic, I went through my own personal rehab through the pandemic, where I was
Okay.
like, okay, I need to get healthier.
Hmm.
Right. And then I started listening to podcasts, started listening to audiobooks. And the one book that changed my life was Atomic Habits.
Okay.
And basically, the
Do
book
you know
tells
the
you
author?
James Clear.
James Clear.
James Clear, Atomic
Okay.
Habits. So if James ever
And
sees this
I have
or
actually
hears this,
right.
yeah, thank you, James, because I've shared this book. I've
Yeah.
actually sent this book to a couple friends. I was like, give me your address. I'm going to just mail you I'll buy it on Amazon and just send it your way.
Hmm.
I'm more of an audiobook person. I digest
Likewise.
better.
Yeah.
Reading, I don't really read.
Sure.
And with audiobooks, what helped me is I was giving myself the benefit of listening to an audiobook if I was driving, if I was
Yeah. Well,
working out, if
I
I was
love that
walking.
about audiobooks. Like, is you can just listen to them while you're driving. If you've got a long commute to a gig or whatever, get
Right,
in a little
right.
45 minutes, few chapters.
Right. Because I
Yeah.
didn't want to sit. I didn't want to sit and read a book and
Right.
feel like I'm wasting that time.
Right.
But if I could absorb it while I'm working out at the gym or while I'm on
Hmm.
a 2 mile walk or
Right.
driving to wherever, that's what I prefer. And I've been able to listen to more audiobook. I've listened to more audiobooks in the first 2 years, in
Yeah.
2020 and 2021, than I read books in my entire life.
Right. Well, I was going to say also, before we get off subject about Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is a big book in recovery as well, like in the recovery
Oh, that's
community.
awesome. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least in my recovery community, I've heard of it, like from different people, and it basically talks about stacking habits and all that good stuff, and it's a way to kind of organize your shit show,
Right. Right. Like I just happened over here. I dropped my
right?
phone.
You just fell. Hey, do you have any? Can you turn your light up a little bit? It's getting, the sun's going down in Chicago.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I got
Here,
something.
um,
I forgot oh yeah. So I'm going through. Oh, so we're talking about Atomic Habits. How you were saying how it's big in the recovery world, at least your circle of recovery.
I've
Yeah,
heard it from several friends. Yeah.
and basically what it tells you is, we all have the ability to change.
Hmm.
What keeps us from change is our systems.
Okay.
Right? We all need a better system for change.
Hmm.
So what it starts to do is you start to question what your habits are. It helps you identify these habits, both good and bad.
Hmm.
And then it gives you a little bit of infrastructure to redesign your system so you can accommodate these habits a little bit better. Habit stacking, habit recognition, habit reward, like all these different things. And there's 4 components in the book that it teaches you. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I still listen to this book to this day. I still just throw on a random chapter and just reabsorb something, and almost like that, like just a reality check of how I'm doing with what I've learned from this book. How am I adapting? Am I still applying these habits every day? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not just recognizing them, but actually putting them to work every day. And that book, along with a book called Unfuck Yourself, and another book called The Compound Effect. Those 3 books, in that order, just help me, right? Along with working out, eating better.
Well, now, I was going to say that the next question was going to be, you can back up a little bit, So you're not not right in the
I was
screen.
getting excited, man.
And I was getting into it, motherfucker. But anyway, but okay. So the question I was going to ask though is how? Okay, so from being where you were, like, what did you realize, or what made? I mean, I know that you said during the pandemic, but like, take us on that journey a little bit, like of, hey, okay, well, I had a self realization that I was this way, and I fixed it this way.
Okay. Basically, I figured out, or not figured out, I was educated on just being physically better.
Right.
And by being physically better, it also helps your mental thought
Agreed.
process, everything.
Sure.
And I'm a firm believer that you can't have one without the other. Like if you
Mhm.
want mental stability and clarity, you have to be physically just healthier. Just whether
Agreed.
and it doesn't have to be what you eat, but what you consume. Social media, the fucking news, all this shit all this information we're constantly inundated with on a
Mhm.
daily basis on our phone, from, now with, all the crazy shit with ICE and politics and wars.
Yeah.
And we're just being force fed all this shit.
Right. Well, and
And
it's a magic trick, Alex. And
yeah,
we
oh
talked
no,
about this the other
yeah,
day. It's just like, look at all this shit and let's get everybody fighting each other, whereas, and then they don't see, who's pulling the strings, or they don't, it's just a diversionary tactic, which if you realize it, then you just quit. I literally I quit watching the news. Maybe watch it for the weather or a sports report, like
yeah,
like ESPN or something. But
right,
most
right,
of the time, I don't pay any attention to politics, all that stuff, because it's special interest groups, military industrial complex, blah blah blah, all that stuff is really running the show, and then they've got the politicians bought and paid for.
right.
So it's just it's sad, but that's why I just don't let it, because all it's going to do is take my energy and fuck with it.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
mean, it's just like, oh, well, that asshole thinks this way opposite of me, and I'm just like, no, I don't care, dude. Hey,
right,
if it
right,
works for you, that's cool. As long as you're
right.
not physically harming somebody, something nefarious, um, just live and let live,
Right, right. But
Yeah.
now keep in mind, during the pandemic, everyone's watching the news
Yeah.
because we're all home. There's
Yeah.
nothing else going on. We're all watching because we want to
Right.
know what's happening.
Sure.
Right. And then we're seeing other countries close down and this
Mhm.
happened. And then, all the riots that happened and all this, it was a lot. And
Yeah.
audiobooks and exercise was and still is the only alternative to living a healthier life. It
Mhm.
really is. So, the one thing I learned is being 1% better every day.
Right.
That's it. Just
Yeah.
1% better. That's first of all, it's easy, it's
Mhm.
simple, and it's you can sustain that, right?
Right.
You don't have to go to the gym 7 days a week. Most people can't do 5. I
Did
wasn't
you?
trying to live that
I
way.
got a question. So, like, as far as the 1% better, did you kind of track that, or was it just something just kept in your head? Because, like, I would like, okay, well, what did I do? Okay, so I'm going to add that to my routine. I would need to start making notes.
Well, that's what the book tells you.
Yeah.
There's habit trackers. If you have
Right.
a habit tracker, then you can actually physically see every
Right.
time you avoided having a cigarette, every time you avoided having a drink, because
Right.
you're adding a paperclip to the jar. So at the end of the
Gotcha.
day, you could see physically how many times you avoided doing a negative habit.
And I'm sure there's an app for that as well.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
For me, what I did is I designed a spreadsheet. And on
Okay.
the spreadsheet, it had the first column was the date. The second column was a cardio date, meaning how many minutes did I do cardio that day.
Okay.
The next one was how many push-ups I did. The next one was how many curls I did. The next one was how many triceps, how many shoulders. So I had this this spreadsheet, and I put it right next to my computer monitor along on the side of the wall that I saw every day.
Okay.
And the first month, maybe 15, 20% of that month was filled out.
Right.
By the second month, 80% of that spreadsheet was filled out. Every day there was something done. I either did cardio, or I did 100 push-ups, or I did X amount of curls, or X amount of whatever's. Like, I was tracking it.
Yeah.
So now I could see. So by month 3, I didn't even need that chart anymore, because I had already instilled this new habit of being physically active. It didn't matter what, just do something. Go for a walk, walk to the grocery store today. Don't drive. And then it started to bleed into what I was eating. Right. I want a hamburger. Don't get cheese on it. I want a hamburger. Don't get fries with it. Turned into, I need a hamburger. I need a double burger. I don't need the bun anymore. Right. Like, you slowly start to incorporate your own sort of plot twist to the habits, and you just, now it's in your psyche. Everything you're doing is in your psyche. Am I watching too much TV? Am I dicking around with too much alcohol? Am I fucking around in the streets? Am I gambling? Am I staying up late? Am I, all these things, all of a sudden you're more aware. And just being aware of what you're consuming and what you're doing and what you're not doing, just being aware is going to get you that 1% better every day. Because now that you're aware of your choices, now you can actually be more definitive in the choices you make. Right.
You can be cognizant. Yeah. You can be a participant. Yeah.
Yes. And now, when you were talking about data, now you do have this data, because now I'm tracking my meals. I'm tracking calories. I'm using my watch to track my steps. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the month, I have all this new data that now I can manage. Because remember, you can't manage what you don't track, right? So now that you have all this data, now you could see, okay, where can I make improvements? I need to just make sure I stay under my daily caloric intake. Or, today I ate too much fat. Today I had too many carbs. I didn't reach my protein goals. Like, all these different things you start to see. And then you realize, man, on this day, I ate this, and I reached my protein goal without having to go over my fat intake or my carb intake. So then you slowly start to remember your favorite recipes, your favorite meals. And I'm a simple guy. I don't need to eat something different day. I can make 2 pounds of chili, and I could eat that for a week.
Oh yeah.
I don't eat that every meal, but just having something at the ready that is going to suffice your protein goals and your caloric intake, and you can manage it. Yeah. Huge time saver as well.
Yeah. Agreed.
So then you start to build these habits, and then as you're working out, as you're exercising, then you see the physicalness start to develop. You're like, oh, my gut's not so big, and this shirt didn't fit me 3 years ago.
Right.
And, wow, this suit coat feels nice.
It looks good.
You're like, ooh, look at this. I got another
notch.
Another notch on the belt. Yeah, exactly. Right. You're like, okay. And then you're like, ooh, let me go into storage and bust out those jeans from 2004, and you're like, oh my God, these jeans fit. Granted, Granted, you can't wear them because they're out of style, right? But you realize, wow, these clothes fit me better.
Sure.
And then you start to realize how much more energy you have. Then you start to realize how much more you're getting done. And then you start to realize how better you feel. And then you start to realize how other people perceive you. Like, man, Alice, you have this new energy now. And it's just like, you know what? I feel that. And then you start to learn about distributing your energy. What am I giving my energy to? What's coming back to me? And then you just start to realize, am I turning into a fucking hippie? Like, what is going on? But then you feel all this stuff. You start to realize, man, I really gave too much energy to trying to fix what I thought was wrong.
Right. Well, and on that topic, that's the thing. And I didn't realize it when I was in my alcoholism. I didn't realize how detrimental it was, until it got to dire straits, so to say,
Yeah.
so to
Yeah.
speak, to where, like I'm aspirating at night, and I have sleep apnea and all that stuff. And I'm constantly, at odds with my wife. And it's just like you got to figure out what's healthy and what works for you and where your rock bottom is. But the thing is just like I was blinders, dude, until it got really, really bad. I had to have like a sledgehammer, you know, hit me over the
Yeah.
head to realize, hey, I got to do something about this, because
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, cool. Hey, man, I'll just go. I'll go live under a bridge and just keep drinking. That kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that thought crossed my mind, dude. But
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you know,
I haven't had to deal with that type of
sure. But you had your own.
addiction, but
But you had your own realization of, hey,
yes,
man, life's getting shitty. Okay, cool. Now that I know life's getting shitty, let's do something about it.
correct.
And
Correct.
that's the whole thing that this show is kind of about, is just sharing, my experience or my guest experience. So hopefully that person can implement or learn from our experience, basically to
Yeah.
share our experience, and to try to hopefully, let people know it's okay to fucking go through shit, because that's why
Yeah.
we're here, dude. We're here
Yeah.
to go through shit and to learn stuff. And it's like a big university, for the
Yeah.
soul,
And the,
for the
and
soul.
the, for exactly. And the beauty about recovery or that self-realization or the aha moment is that you realize what you need to do different.
Hmm.
But then as you start to do the work, you start to uncover all this new stuff that you forgot about yourself, or you learn to relearn things, or you just figure out, man, I was doing life wrong.
Yeah.
And you discover all this new levels of clarity, new levels of accountability.
Right.
You realize that, man, this stuff is working for me.
Right.
And then you're all in. Now I'm all in. Like,
Right.
I'll spend $4 or $5 on a protein shake, because I knew, now that I don't drink anymore. I mean, I partake in wine, at dinner every once in a while, but
Hmm.
I try to eliminate that altogether. But I realized, I was spending $8, $9 on a beer or a seltzer.
Yeah.
$4 or $5 on a protein shake is nothing. I'm still saving
Sure.
money.
Right.
So I'm doing something better with the money, right? I'm
Hmm.
consuming something better. And then you start investing in all these supplements, and you try to see what works for you, from mushroom coffee to ashwagandha.
Biohacking.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And then what I discovered about myself is that I am terrified of getting old.
Okay.
Terrifies me. I'm terrified of it.
Okay.
While at the same time, I've also learned to accept and come to terms with
Do
death.
you know why you're terrified of it?
I think because as being self-employed and self-reliant your whole life,
Yeah.
you kind of start to realize, fuck, this DJ gig, standing for 4 or 5 hours, fucking hurts.
Right.
And then you're like, well, what else are you gonna do? This is,
Yeah. At what
people.
point do I become a greeter at Walmart?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I understand that I'm in the late fall, early winter of my DJ career.
Well, I say I'm in
I
we're in the third quarter.
yes,
And
we're deep. We're deep in the third quarter.
no, dude, I'm
We're
making my third quarter comeback right now, dude.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I feel much better in this third quarter at my age than I did at halftime.
Right. Yeah,
You
well,
know?
and that's the thing, dude. Like, also, your perception changes as you get older. Like, I mean, honestly, back in the day, I almost used to look at everything as a competition, and I'm like, you know what? It's not, dude. It's not a competition. I'm like, I mean, who am I competing with? It's just like, why just look? I mean, think about how many people you could help, dude. Now, like, I mean, that's how
Yeah.
I try to frame it now. It's like, man, I'm in a position to, like, see some talent and foster some talent and help some people. and I mean, who knows what, I could launch, from there. But I mean, also, I still haven't, I still got a few bullets in the gun left, on
Yeah,
my end,
yeah.
and I'm like, I mean, I'm doing. I'm living the dream, dude. Like, I mean, it's happening. I mean, it takes time. Obviously, we want everything, but I mean, I'm doing the work and have the promotion behind it, and I'm seeing the results.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it's ever too late to change or to make positive changes. There's certain things that I'm, trying to work on, like, my spirituality a little bit more and be more cognizant of that. And I mean, I guess when we get older, we also start asking questions like, what does it all mean?
Right. What is the meaning of life?
Why are
What is
we
my
here?
purpose? What is my
Yeah,
purpose? And
exactly. Yeah.
right.
Let's, what have you
And
found out?
I found out that if I had to discover a purpose, the purpose is just to enjoy the journey.
Mm-hmm.
I think once you start to force things, or what we call in the industry, start chasing the dragon.
Right. Well,
I think it starts to take away of who you are and how you should be moving forward. Like, and I'm
mm-hmm.
not saying no one should chase their dreams. Everyone should
Sure.
chase their dreams.
Sure.
If any, I encourage that. I really do. But you have to also follow your dreams up until the point where it starts to hinder who you are and who you start to become.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
pursue your dreams or your passion, but do it mindfully.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that line in the sand continues to move as you get older.
Sure.
Right. And maybe the line in the sand doesn't move. Maybe the line in the sand just gets wider.
Yeah.
And you start to realize, okay, I'm not going to go that way. I tried it.
Right.
Let me do it another way. And
Sure.
and the same way you're doing the work with your label and collecting the data,
Mm-hmm.
that's the energy I'm putting into me.
Yeah.
Like for me, the music, as much as it is a mainstay in my life,
Mm-hmm.
it's no longer the focus.
Sure.
And ever since I let go of certain things that I was holding on too tight, like I'm Alex Peace and I have to have this career,
Yeah,
I have to be influential, and I got
identity that you created.
who am I, and I need to be
Right.
relevant. That was all just my ego.
Sure.
And my unhealthy perspective holding on to it.
Right.
And once I let that shit go,
Mm-hmm.
not only has my life gotten better, not only do I feel better,
Yeah.
not only do I am able to accept the things that I don't like better, not only all the positive things, but I honestly feel like the music I'm making
Mm-hmm.
by myself and with Brian is better.
Right.
Because now we're not making a song to be on a chart. We're
Sure.
not making a song for a certain label. We're just making music. Even if we only get together
Right.
one session a month, that 4 to 6, 8 hours of us making music, we enjoy it. We love it because
dude.
we know we're just creating, and we don't get
great. And that's where I'm a big fan of, like, Rick Rubin. I don't make music for you. I make music for me. I make music for, it's like a selfish reason, but it's just, I do it because, and then that's what I always tell people. I go, do it because you love it. But if you're going to treat it like a business, have a healthy relationship with it, but then realize there are things you can do to help your business,
Right.
and it just depends on what you want out of it. And I always say this analogy, hey, I'm going to make music regardless. But do I want a painting that I'm just going to, for my bathroom, or do I want the Mona Lisa, and it's just like, I want the Mona Lisa, or at least a Warhol.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, and I mean, it goes back to that. Still, we all crave a validation, but like, I think I've become I've become more comfortable with. It's okay if I do a post on Instagram and it doesn't do well, it's not going to ruin my day, and it is what it is, or if I do a song And like, I mean, tons of songs I have no idea. And I'm just like, by the time it comes out, I'm like, meh. you
You're
know
over it. You're over it.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm sure you've had that too, but it's just like, but then you're all of a sudden, whatever, 70, 80, 100,000 streams later, you're like, well, I guess they like that turd. It's just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's funny because, it's basically just me, just how I felt at that moment and what I was feeling. And it brought joy to me to make that song. And
Yeah.
occasionally I will still give myself chills in the studio, you know,
Yeah.
when you do that, but after you've done it, like, a million times, you don't always get the runner's high that you used to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think a big part of that is just going back to making music
Yeah,
for the reasons why you started.
exactly. Because I love it, because I
Yeah.
love music.
Right. And you have to love the process.
Yeah.
Right. And there's
Yeah.
a lot of people, DJs, that don't contribute anything to
Yeah.
the culture. They don't do edits. They don't have a podcast. They don't share music. They don't have a big show. They
And
don't
they're
make
all
music.
pieces of shit.
And they expect the same type of uh, level of success. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, some people can achieve it by not creating anything. God
Right.
bless them. But don't come to me and say, man, I wish I had XYZ when
Mhm.
you haven't done ABC yet.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
And for a lot of artists or DJs, that's not in they're just not going to make music, and that's fine.
Mhm.
But don't live in a world of what's the word I'm looking for?
Fantasy.
Not fantasy, where
Yeah.
you feel entitlement, right?
Yeah. Right.
Or I've been DJing for 20 years, and how come I'm not getting?
God damn it! God damn it! I'm still a vinyl DJ.
Right. Well, the question is what are you doing? Are you even going out to meet new people or promoters? Are you
Exactly.
sending mixes? Are you trying to contribute, or are you just fucking
just
angry
being jaded? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's just like I tell people, it's just like, why? Okay, why should people give a fuck about you?
Right.
Outside of your family and your friends, nobody gives a fuck about you.
Right.
Everybody's worried about their own shit. And if you can be a part of somebody's entertainment at some point, and at the end of the day, is really fucking cool to me. But the thing is like, yeah, you got to do ABC, like you said. You've got to do these things.
You got to do
the work. It's not going to just presto changeo boom,
Right. And even with that, there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
Right. What was the quote I shared with you on the phone the other day, where I was like, there is no happiness without effort, but effort does not always equate happiness.
Sure.
So you might do things to make you happy. It may not make you happy.
Right.
But doing something is better than doing nothing.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's like you might hate leg day, but if you want to have bird legs, then keep skipping it, dude.
Exactly. So I think, for me, it was just letting go of a lot of things, right? Leaving it by the river, as they say.
Okay.
And just moving forward with my life in a better way, whatever that is.
Okay.
And for me, it was being physically active, more of it, being consistent, having all of that activity and the diet and the less TV and less social media, all that, doing as much of that as I can so that it could compound into something better.
Right.
Because you don't need to spend 6 hours in the gym, 2 hours in the gym.
Sure.
Right. First of all, it's not sustainable. But if you could go on a 10-minute walk 3 to 5 days a week,
yeah,
after a year, you're going to see some change, right?
Sure.
It's not going to happen in a month, 2 months, 3 months. It might take 9, 12 months for you to see it. So for me, it was just living differently. I had to live differently. And now that I'm in a good place, that's the journey I want to share. And I think more people can benefit out of me sharing those tidbits than me sharing, here's my new song.
Yeah.
Like that's cool. And I think the song is for me, and it's my contribution to the ecosystem of dance music. And
Mm-hmm.
if it lands, great. If it
Yeah.
reaches 2 people, fine. If it
Right.
reaches 1,000 streams a week, 100,000 streams in total, great.
Right.
But that is not the reason why I'm doing it.
Sure.
And back to
You're doing it for the love of it,
right,
and not for the result.
Exactly. And then going back to the accolades, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit.
Right.
Right. Getting
isn't that kind of freeing now? Like that
no,
now
absolutely.
that we've had some water under the bridge and some experience now. It's just like, as long as I'm trying to be a good person, pay it forward, stay out of self, and then, pursue what I enjoy doing, in my own way, whatever it is. It's just, I don't know.
You know what's funny? If you like to, let's say you like to garden.
Yeah.
And I like to paint.
Mm-hmm.
We would probably share that.
You should
on our
paint a picture
media.
of my garden.
Yeah, yes. we would share our gardens and paintings on social media.
100%.
But because it's music, now all of a sudden it's related to how it's received, because of the nature of the business, right? Mm-hmm. Where if you make a good song, now you have to get the streams for it. You have to go up the chart. You have to get, if it was any other art, nobody would give a fuck.
Right.
Right. And so for us, or for me, the art of making music is exactly like painting or gardening.
Or like cooking, I mean, how many people are badass chefs out there or cooks out there that just do it for their family, and they're legends in their family? But the thing is if you want to have a cooking show, then you got to have a business plan. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, yes, exactly. And because we're in the business of being DJs and getting booked and trying to be vibe creators or move dance floors, whatever the case is, now we have to put this weird umbrella over it and how we operate or how we present it to the world.
Right.
And for me, being free of that and just presenting it, just say, hey, here's the new song. Yes. Right. Do I care that the artwork looks cool? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I care that I have a cool video for it for people to absorb it? Absolutely.
Right.
Do I
care how it sounds? Yeah. Absolutely.
But at the same time, Brian and I, we just want people to have it. So we'll actually pay music for more people to hear it so they can have it for free.
Oh yeah, dude. No, that's what I said. Like the new thing is like the new gate. Real quick, like, I mean, it used to, you used to have $2,000 to put out a record, X amount of records. Now it's just like you have to pay to give it away, but then it's that branding. So then if you pay to give it away and it lands with, like, let's say you send it to 3,000 people and 200 people fucking love it. Right. And then it just becomes, and not every song's going to land with them. But the thing is it's just, it's stacking W's, and getting resume building, whatever you want to call it. And at the end of the day, it's nice to have a solid elevator pitch to give to a promoter or to have your booking agent give to a promoter.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, does it really bring me joy? And I'm very cognizant of that. And I like to, and even if my shit didn't land, or I wasn't getting whatever kind of streams / supports I'm getting, I would still do it. I'd still do it because I love it, and I did, what? I didn't realize how much I missed it. Because I was going through my pity party of playing open format and, working at my other job of being an alcoholic. So I didn't realize how much I missed it until I got sober. And then I was like, man, dude, I love doing this. Why wasn't I doing this all along?
Right.
But you just don't have that mental clarity, when you're going through when you're in quicksand, you're not always thinking, you know?
Yeah. And think about the choices you made before you got heavy into your addiction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're talking about how we're playing open format at venues. You know, how you get lost in the sauce, so to speak. You kind of,
Yeah.
you don't know how to break out of that weird
Doldrum or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is. You're like, well, if I'm playing open format, I can't make house music because I don't play house music. So how do I? And really, if we would have just taken the approach that we have now of not giving a fuck how it's received and just
right
going back to the process of making music,
yeah,
maybe that could have helped you. But as it turns out, I'm happy that you conquered it, and I'm happy you brought the label back. Right. You know, I remember we talked 2.5 years ago, and you were like, "Man, I think I'm going to start the label back up. I'm ready to get the beat." And I was
dude,
like,
none of these other numbskulls know what the fuck they're doing. So why not me too? You know?
Yeah, and you may as well, because what else are you going to do?
Right.
What else? If you can't do the things that bring you joy, then what are you doing?
Right, dude. I want to like it when it's all said and done. I want to look back and go, man, that was fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then wherever I am in my, spiritual journey, let's go back and do that again. Or, maybe I could tweak this and get this right. Or whatever it is. But the thing is I think that the key thing is just enjoy what you're doing and be a fucking good person, or try to be, just try to pay it forward, try to, stay out of self and openly support. Don't quietly hate. Don't quietly hate,
Right. I remember when I was approaching my 40s, people were telling me, "Are you going to DJ in your 40s?"
Yeah.
Then I'm 45. You going to DJ when you turn 50? And then I turn 50. Yeah. And here I am approaching 54.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, when people ask me, "Are you going to DJ forever?" And my response is always the same. God willing, yeah. For as long as I can. For as long as people are willing to book me to play, to do something. First of all, if I love DJing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm pretty fucking good at it.
Sure.
So why would I stop doing something I love and something I'm good at?
Right. Exactly.
Now I can't predict the future.
Nobody's going to tell you to quit gardening.
Right. So people will let me know when it's time to quit.
Right.
I'm going to try to do it forever, which circles back to being physically fit.
Sure.
To be healthy enough to do it as long as possible. Sure, there's going to come a time where I'm not doing it 2-3 times a week. Right. But if I could do it once a month, twice a month, whatever, I'm going to do it because I still love doing it. And, it might come out to the point where, well, nobody's booking me. I still love DJing. I guess I got to join the Twitch fucking circuit. And it might be just because I get joy out of DJing and that's why I do it. Luckily, I still get paid.
Well, dude,
people are still paying me to do it, so I'm going to keep doing it.
As an inspiration, there is a friend of mine, Mark Gorbaloo. He's
what a great name.
Yeah, he actually went to Woodstock as a teenager, so he is older than us, but he still DJs, at Dante's Hi-Fi in Miami, and then he's got his restaurants that he does, bars and lounges, and then he also goes to West Palm and to Fort Lauderdale and stuff like that, and he's well in his 70s, if not, in close to, I don't want to flame him out and give him go, "Oh, I'm only 72, you fuck."
Right.
But he's, it's just like, and it brings him joy and he loves it. And people, it's funny when people, try to say that it's a young person's game, and I'm just like, whatever. I mean, yeah, okay, sure. If you think that, then sure, okay, then it is a young person's game. But I mean, I'm just saying, I just see a lot of guys that are successful, well on in close to their 70s. Danny Tenaglia, Carl Cox, all these people. And then like I said, my friend Mark Gorblew, and he, I think it's, if you want to do something. By the way, thanks for turning your light on.
Yeah, finally. Well, you know what? I didn't mean to. I was trying to brighten it up somehow, and I realized it's gone again.
Yeah, well, it worked.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck
people have already tuned out by this point. So fuck it. But anyway, dude, I want to thank you for coming on. We kept it relatively close to an hour, which I'm pretty impressed for us. But thanks for coming on.
Nah, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, and then obviously anything you want to plug. I know you and I have a project we're working on.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Fun. Yeah,
I'm excited.
And then you've also got a release with Richard Vision.
I do. Richard Vision made a banger.
Yeah,
and I added some vocals, and it's coming out on Night Bass. It's coming out on Night Bass on November 21st.
Dude, that's gonna be huge.
Bass label. It is gonna be big. So shout out to Richard Vision for putting my vocal on it. He did all the work. He made the hit. I just blessed it with some vocals.
Sure.
And then I have a vinyl release.
Okay, you and Brian, right?
Yeah, Brian and I decided to just fuck it. We're gonna press a record. And it's funny when you said back in the day it was $2,000 to press a record, and you get like 1,000 copies. Yeah. Now I don't want to tell you how much we paid, but we certainly didn't get anywhere near 1,000 copies for the amount of money we paid.
Oh yeah.
But again, it's
very boutique now.
Yes, and we're not doing it to make money. We're just doing it because we wanted to put out a record that we haven't. I haven't had a actual record out in 20 years. Yeah. The most records I have are on my wall right now.
Right. Right.
And personally, I'm not going back to vinyl. I think it's great that people are playing vinyl, and if I'm going to play vinyl, I want to play my own.
I keep a stack. That's where I want to get it down to, like, okay, hey, if I want to play a house set, if I want to play this kind of set, whatever, I just have those, and then that's what you're getting, because I think it's still cool to be able to have that skill set, and it's a nice flex, but I still think it's fun to do. I think vinyl is just fun to play.
Sure. I as someone like you who came from vinyl, and I see all these people putting so much emphasis or importance or nostalgia in it, I just can't wrap my head around that. It's just, you're just DJing vinyl. That's how I learned how to DJ. Right, with the same two records until you figured out how to blend something perfectly. Right. And I have this joke when people say, "Don't you miss vinyl?" And my response is, "Well, clearly you never had to run down through the United Terminal carrying a 70-pound bag, hung over, and fucking exhausted from the night before trying to catch a flight." Yeah. You may as well go back to fucking dial-up if you miss vinyl that much. Like, oh yeah, dude. Like, no thanks. Dude, I mean, don't get me wrong. And again, the reason why we're making this vinyl is that if we do have the opportunity to play vinyl somewhere, I want to play my own fucking vinyl.
There you
go. I'll play my favorite songs, including my own.
There you go.
And that's it. But to get back into being a vinyl DJ, and I'm not interested in that. I like bringing my USB stick.
Been there, done that, and I have the groove in my shoulder to prove it.
Right. I think I stopped DJing right at the point when they started putting wheels on the flight cases. So I didn't even really get to enjoy that part of traveling.
Oh, yeah. I do remember the evolution of the big square anvil case. Then it went to the slimmer case.
Right, the European style with the rounded edges.
Yeah, with the colors, And then finally you figure it out and you go with the shoulder bag. Because, I mean, how many, you're not going to play over 30 records. So,
no, but at the time, our mentality was we don't know what we need.
Exactly.
People don't, and it's just funny you bring this up, because I remember when we used to select a small crate, a small bag, maybe 30 to 40 records for a set. Yeah. And you had to make it work. Yeah. And now what I'm doing with certain sets at certain venues that I play, now I have the same mentality. I create a folder, and these are the 40 songs that I'd like to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually you end up dipping out of that folder.
Right.
But can you imagine if we had to do that now?
Yeah.
Like playing open format with 40 records?
Yeah, dude.
Dude.
Well, thank God. Like I used to have it where you left your records at the club, dude. So that was good. You had the residency.
That was called a residency, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And nobody was touching your shit, or
right.
You had the
or
big
you had the shared collection, and it was you and maybe two other people.
Right. Or everyone had their own lane. Like they had this big DJ library, like this huge thing made out of plywood with all these different rows.
Sure.
And you were able to lock your row with a padlock.
Nice.
Like
I never had that, dude.
Oh my God, dude. I mean, dude, when people bring up the old school, nobody talks about, they don't fucking know.
We'll have to do an episode just on that, dude.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I'll probably fall asleep during it.
Right. There we go. Well, hey, dude, I appreciate you coming on. Be sure, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Hey, if you got any questions or anything like that, any advice or whatever, hit Alex up, Alex Peace on Instagram. He's on Facebook. So am I. Got any questions? I am what knowledge I have, I am an open book, and I am, always down to, give advice or share my experience where I can. So, hit us up.
Because and before we go, I got to tell you,
yeah,
dude, I'm proud of you. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, man.
Not just on the recovery, but just, you're back to doing something you love. And we lost touch for many years. We haven't talked, and it's just nice that when we do talk, it's not just about music. Like we're just talking.
We're a couple of
old fucking
ladies,
birds.
Dude.
It's like you're calling me to get what I'm calling you for whatever, and then it turns into a 3-hour conversation.
Yeah,
like this. Like you've been trying to get off this podcast for the last 10 minutes, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
I'll just edit it, brother. I'll just edit it all out.
Yes. But thank you, and congratulations, brother.
Well, thank you, and thank you for coming on and sharing your positive feedback and your positive changes that you've made, because hopefully somebody can learn from our shit shows.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, kids, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.